Hello everyone. I'd like to start today with a quick joke about marriage. A couple drove down a country road. They had been driving for several miles, neither of them saying a word to each other. In fact, an earlier discussion had led to an argument, and neither of them wanted to concede on their position. As they passed a barnyard full of mules, goats, and pigs, one asked sarcastically, "Relatives of yours?" "Yep," the other replied, "in-laws." I hope you enjoyed that. You may or may not have noticed I didn't use nouns. Not he, not she, no wife or husband. That's because it shouldn't matter if a love is there. And the truth is, there's already so much stress and hard work that goes into marriage. We shouldn't artificially add more to that. In this video, I will be discussing a pro stance on same-sex marriage and asking you to consider it from a neutral point of view. I personally do have family members in the LGBTQ community, and their safety and happiness is very important to me. Same-sex marriage was made legal nationwide on June 26, 2015. We're only 5 years into this, and this is important because it marks a huge milestone for civil rights in the United States, and we're part of that history. You might actually find it's easier when you realize or consider some of the points I'll actually be discussing today. This includes rearing or raising children, social economic benefits, and I'll also ask you to consider removing any bias just for a few moments to see if this can help you grow or at the very least understand your role of tolerance in the new world. So what are the benefits of this civil rights milestone? I'll start with raising children. A commonly accepted idea is the fact that children are our future, and even more common knowledge is that children who come from loving and stable households are more likely to succeed and contribute in life and society. According to a study by a highly respected journal of development and behavioral pediatrics, children with female same-sex parents and different sex parents demonstrated no differences in outcomes, despite female same-sex parents also reporting more parenting stress. This study did take into account health, emotional difficulties, coping, and learning behaviors of the children. The fact here is treating same-sex couples different and denying them resources doesn't just affect them, but the children that they're raising as well. Granting them the same rights and benefits simply means more children in more stable homes with better futures and contributors to society, which leads me to my next point. The social economic benefits of same-sex marriage are vast, but let's only take into consideration just the wedding spending portion of it as a minor example. According to a case study by the UCLA School of Law, authors Christy Mallory and Brad Sears clearly outline the revenue generated in just 5 years since the US legalized same-sex marriage. Out of just 293 same-sex marriages in those 5 years, $3,223,000,000 in wedding spending, $543,800,000 in out-of-state guest spending. That's people coming into town for weddings. This is millions in sales tax revenue alone. The study also outlines the amount of jobs this spending has actually created. Imagine what that'll do for empowered couples. Okay, sure, the numbers look okay, but some might still say things like, well, we'll see what the future has in store. It's only been 5 years after all. Or things like, what about my religious freedoms? This goes against what I believe in. I'm certainly not here to take away what you believe in. Religious freedom is a fundamental human right. It's the right for people to live and act according to their beliefs peacefully and publicly. Something often forgotten, however, is that freedom isn't free. It comes at a price. In this instance, something people omit or forget is that the price for freedom of religion is that it only works on the condition of tolerating others' choices and beliefs. If you should be able to live and act according to your own beliefs, you have the responsibility to at the very least tolerate that others might have a different view than you. The fact of the matter is, this is no longer a debate. It's now federal law and a protected right. My goal here was to hopefully persuade you to be on the right side of history. I talked a little bit about how children are affected, the social economic benefits, and our responsibility should we decide to continue to uphold our very own freedom of religion, but only doing so by paying the price of tolerance. My hope is also that we put less pressure on these new couples. They are certainly destined for great things, and hopefully a few lighthearted jokes come out of it too. Thank you all for your time.